So, you want to save the world with clean energy? Make money doing it? Confused about the economic and technical realities of residential and commercial solar, batteries, heat pumps, EVs? Want the real-world scoop on new energy technologies, not manufacturer hype? Then tune in to the Weekly Energy Show, hosted by Barry Cinnamon. Insights from Barry's 40-plus years in the solar and energy industry will help you understand the future ways we'll generate and consume energy. And now, here's Barry. So, you want to save the world with clean energy? Make money doing it? Confused about the economic and technical realities of residential and commercial solar, batteries, heat pumps, EVs? Want the real-world scoop on new energy technologies, not manufacturer hype? Then tune in to the Weekly Energy Show, hosted by Barry Cinnamon. Insights from Barry's 40-plus years in the solar and energy industry will help you understand the future ways we'll generate and consume energy. And now, here's Barry.
Welcome to this week's Energy Show. Now, installing ordinary glass and aluminum solar modules is tricky, but that's what's common in the market. I've been installing these myself for over 20 years, and they've been the standard for 40 years or more. The problem is that these modules are heavy, and many commercial buildings just can't support the extra weight of ordinary modules or modules with ballasted racking. And so there's a market that's looking for lightweight modules, and there's certain segments of the market that are looking for flexible modules. Of course, they'd have to be the high-efficiency crystalline modules that we're used to. There's a segment of the market that's just demanding these, and there's really no product within the industry that I've seen over the past 20 years that does that. But there's a new company called Sunman that's now shipping their eArc modules in Asia, in Europe, and they're gaining a lot of traction. I was familiar with this product because the CEO of the company is Dr. Shi, and it's my pleasure to have Dr. Shi on our show here today. He's literally a legend in the solar industry. He was the founder and CEO of SunTech, the first New York Stock Exchange listed solar company. They're the largest manufacturer in the world. And he's also a professor at the University of New South Wales. He's very forward thinking, not just thinking about the cells or the modules, but the possibility of expanding these internationally with new mounting systems, which would appeal to new buildings. In fact, Dr. Shi manufactured our Andale solar modules about 15 years ago, and they've been the most reliable solar panels I've ever installed. So welcome to the show, Dr. Shi.
Hi, Barry. It's good to come back to the Bay Area and see you again.
That's terrific. Okay. Well, maybe if you could just give our listeners a little bit of a background about your career from researching to SunTech to Sunman.
Yes, and I started my solar career actually back in 1989, as a PhD student in the University of New South Wales, Australia. So my advisor is a very famous Professor Martin Green. He has been leading the research group since 1974 and made many solar cell, high-efficiency solar cell technologies such as PERC technology, which now over 90% of manufacturers, actually adopted this technology to produce efficiency around 23 to 24%. So, yes, very, very lucky. And since after I got my PhD in Australia, I worked there as a research for about 10 years. I was involved also in crystalline silicon thin film technology like Pacific Solar, or later on, they changed the name to CSG Solar. So back in 2001, I went to China to found the first, PV manufacturing company in China, SunTech Power. So that was a very successful movement. And SunTech became the largest manufacturer globally from 2009 to 2011. And SunTech was, restructured and sold to a, new company. And then I have to decide what to do next.
Was golfing part of what to do next?
Golfing. Yes, I started to practice some golfing. But as you probably know, I'm not very good at it. Maybe, brain still distracted, fairway, and you still think about how to make better solar panels. Yeah, and Sunman actually was founded in late 2014 with thinking, about crystalline silicon solar panels, which we are still using and install on many roofs or solar farms. So this structure of solar panel really has not yet changed in the last 50 years, with a piece of glass, adhesive film such as EVA and aluminum frame and so on and so on. With advancement of technology development, the module efficiency has been increased dramatically. The cost has been reduced also vastly, but the weight is getting heavier and heavier because now the module is getting bigger and bigger. So Barry, really, I would like to your feeling. How could you handle the very heavy modules these days when you move them to the roof?
Well, yeah, it was easier when I was younger, and so the modules have gotten heavier and I've gotten weaker.
Yes. So, from this point of view, actually, we have been thinking can we change, this design of solar modules. Honestly speaking, a piece of glass weighs around 12 kilogram per square meter. So if we can get rid of glass and replace with some light, transparent material, right? So that could resolve the problem. So that's how Sunman was founded. Basically, Sunman's technology and the product, it marries high-efficiency crystalline silicon solar cells with polymer composite materials. Okay? For polymer composite material, what we use is a glass fiber enhanced polymer, which owns all the properties of a transparent glass in terms of transmission, UV resistant, insulation, and also water vapor resistance, and refractive index, expansion, thermal expansion coefficient, and so on and so on. So with that, we can make a high efficiency crystalline silicon glassless module with weight about 3 kilogram per square meter. The thickness is less than 2 millimeter. And we can tailor-make the product in size and also shape. And with the 40-feet container, we can ship 620 kilowatt. So probably like more than 2 times of glass panels in a container. It's more excitingly, we can install these panels on any roof, any surface. Okay, so in a way, I often call our panel a solar skin. So, and for example, we can install our panels on roofs using glue. Okay, you just glue or bond the panels on the surface, or we can use butyl tape. Okay, we can prefabricate this tape on the panel, and you just peel the paper, and you can bond the panel on the surface directly. Or we can weld our panels on some polymer materials such as TPU, PVC membrane surface, because we use thermoplastic material, which can be welded and also which can be easily recycled. So yes, this are main features of the glassless crystalline silicon modules we developed.
So it's exciting, and the reason why the product is so good is it works on many of the popular rooftops that are here in the U.S. Flat roofs are very, very common. They're with composition rolled out comp. They're membrane roofs, many metal roofs. Yep. What I'm very intrigued about is the fact that since the product is lightweight, it can also go on roofs that were not designed for ballasted systems. So you've got big warehouses or areas maybe where there's a lot of snow and they don't want to add the ballasting or the weight of the panels. So very good application there. What kind of cell technology are you using inside those panels? Okay.
So actually for our panels, we use solar cells which are available in the market because we do not produce solar cells ourselves. For example, at this moment, we use like a 166 millimeter PERC and a half cut cell. And from next year, we will start to launch 182 and 210 millimeter half cut cells for the modules. So from next year, we start to launch 520 watt and 625 watt modules. So because we just follow the market trend in terms of supply chain.
Yeah, you're concentrating on the product rather than the ingredient of the cell
Exactly.
inside, and there's massive companies that are making these cells at lower, higher efficiency costs. When you get to these bigger modules, power electronics becomes important. Tell us a little bit about how your modules are compatible with microinverters or optimizers.
Yes, we already deploy so far 200 megawatt modules in the field, mainly in Asia, Japan, Australia, and Europe. So in terms of electronics, they can, fairly similar to glass modules. You can use inverter, microinverter, or optimizer. So as, you do today in the US. Yeah.
Okay. So with the benefits of the product, how do the total economics of the eArc panels from Sunman compare to ordinary ballasted systems or ordinary rack systems?
Yeah. Yeah, I think first of all, Sunman's module, addresses a problem, where if you use glass module, you cannot do it. So many people want to install solar, but because the roof cannot handle the weight, or they don't want penetration on the roof, so they just cannot do it. So first of all, our eArc module provides this viability. You can install PV on your roof. Secondly, for the low weight roof, if you want to install glass panels, you have to strengthen the structure. That's very costly, actually. So in Asia, you probably will add 10 to 20 cents, additional 10 to 20 cents per watt, just to strengthen the structure. So this is one side. And for system and eArc module, the glassless module will cost a little bit higher than glass module, and partially is due to our scale. Once we hit a multi-gigawatt scale, the manufacturing cost will come down very quickly. But on the other hand, because we do not use racking system, all right, which I believe probably will be around 20 cents per watt, and also installation of our panel is much, much faster. So you save a lot of labor. So overall, EPC cost means module, inverter, cables, racking system, and so on. So it's very comparable.
Okay, so that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, one of the things that you and I have believed in our whole solar career is that solar is going to go on every single rooftop.
Yeah.
And that means that there's a lot of buildings that are being constructed that are new that they have to have solar. And we get involved with the architects, and the architects might want to do something special with a curved roof or skylights.
Yeah.
How would Sunman modules work in that application?
Yes, from that point of view, I think Sunman's module offers a lot of flexibility to adapt to that kind of applications. So in fact, we have been working with several, large building material manufacturers, such as thermal insulation panel manufacturers for roof and facade, and also with waterproof membrane manufacturers, and they want to integrate our eArc panels directly with their product. Okay, they prefabricate these solar integrated panels in the house. So when they do refurbishment of the old roof or do a new roof, they just crane a 15 to 20 meters long panel directly to the roof. All right, only do one installation. They have, done roof installation as well as solar panel. So that's actually save a lot of cost from their point of view, and also provide, very aesthetic appearance for the roof. So I think, the whole, my feelings in the last 5 years, and, we have been talking BIPV in the last 20 years, but in the last 5 years, I really see many building material companies or architecture companies start to look into integration of PV with building materials very seriously. It's already in practice.
The manufacturing scale of that is going to be very, very big. So that leads me to the next question. Mm-hmm. Where are the Sunman modules manufactured now, and what are some of your manufacturing plans?
Okay. At this moment, Sunman, has 1 gigawatt manufacturing capacity in China. We are, in a phase of expanding the capacity. and recently went to Europe, to study the feasibility of set up module manufacturing in Europe. So it looks likely we'll probably do it in the next, 24 months. So we're going to, start some manufacturing in Europe. And also, this trip to the US, and similarly, we're also looking to the feasibility of set up manufacturing here in the US in the future.
And your timing is very, very good. Maybe it's just good karma. But, just this week, we've got the possibility of a very, very good solar manufacturing and solar tax credit bill that would finally get passed throughout in the U.S. legislature. So that would be really, really good. Let's just back up way farther back. What gave you the idea to get started in solar? How'd you get started?
Well, that was, purely lucky and incidental. I told you I went to Australia to study my, PhD, and I just knocked the door of a Professor Martin Green, and I never knew him before. So I was told, he's a very capable and, charming professor with a lot of funding. So that's why I went to his office and knocked his door, and he came out. And I just asked if any possibility for me to work in his laboratory. But his initial answer was actually no. So, but I was very brave, and I just, went on with him. And I said, actually, I just want to have an opportunity to study under his, guidance. So that really somehow, triggered our conversation, and I was invited to his office, and he gave me an offer the next day.
Wow. Well, the people who are successful in solar are not only are they smart and aggressive, but they're also very stubborn. They just keep working away.
You need some luck.
Yeah, and luck and good timing. Yeah. Okay. Well, how can people get in touch with Sunman? What's your website?
Well, our website is www.sunman-energy.com.
All right. Well, good. That's all the time we have on this week's Energy Show. Thank you very much, Dr. Shi, for joining us, and thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in. And if you missed any of today's show, you can always go to our website at cinnamon.energy and listen to the podcasts.
Thank you, Barry.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's Energy Show. Barry wants everyone to benefit from clean energy. So if you missed any of today's show, you can go to our website at cinnamon.energy and listen to the podcasts. So, you want to save the world with clean energy? Make money doing it? Confused about the economic and technical realities of residential and commercial solar, batteries, heat pumps, EVs? Want the real-world scoop on new energy technologies, not manufacturer hype? Then tune in to the weekly Energy Show, hosted by Barry Cinnamon. Insights from Barry's 40-plus years in the solar and energy industry will help you understand the future ways we'll generate and consume energy. And now, here's Barry.